Alrighty, next beer in the 2021 winter semester. Brewtopia Project Brew. Boom! There you go. There you go. We have a little bit of a darker beer than the previous videos, previous reviews, previous brews. So let's dive into this one, shall we? We're going a little back in time. Beer, 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 beer. Hello everybody, welcome back to me, Maple from the Brewski Review. And today the beer that, whoa, hands didn't work. The beer that I have for you is from a simpler time, historic porter by Attila. Another classmate of mine. Obviously, all of these beers are brewed by classmates, every single one of them, their own recipes, their own designs, their own brews. Put their hard work into them, they produced them, and here we have them, the fruits of our labor. But yes, today we're looking at a historic porter from a simpler time from Attila. Again, a solid classmate, a very interesting guy, loves to talk a lot. And sometimes he just says things and you're just like, that's something I never knew. It's like fun facts out of Attila sometimes. I don't know. Interesting guy. Interesting guy indeed, and a very friendly guy indeed. 3.2% alcohols by volume out of this bad boy here. Not too boozy at all. But I guess that's what happens sometimes. Back years and years ago. I don't know what time period this is sort of trying to replicate. Probably, I'm going to assume early 1900s, I want to say, to like the 1920s, 30s, maybe even up to 40s. I don't know. But yeah, without further ado, let's crack this bad boy open. Let's see what we got. Beer, 101 pint glass here as well. Any water in here? Nope, we're good. Cool, just cleaned it. We're good. Let's do it. Pouring it up. There we go. That's about half the can or so there. And looking at the beer, it's not as dark as most porters are. That's one thing I have to say off the bat, but it's still fairly dark when you're not in the light. When you're in the light, it has a little bit of a reddish hue. Nothing like nothing like an Irish red because of that, darker, or not dark, but a light brown head on top. It's still looking fairly pretty clear beer because I can see the light right through it. Not hazy at all. But yeah, solid stuff. Let's dive in on that nose. On the nose, big roast character, indeed. Coming at you, more of that like coffee note, little bit of molasses going on, not a lot. Almost a bit smoky as well. Roasty, lightly smoky even, really nice. Slight molasses, nice biscuit in the back end. A little bit of toffee as well, maybe a touch of caramel. A slight little brown sugar. But smelling like a solid porter. Not really chocolatey, definitely more coffee forward, more roasty forward. I'm pretty excited, let's dive in. Alright. Let's start off. Being 3.2%, it is not a heavy beer. As far as stouts and even porters go, for me, sometimes, I don't know why, I always think porters are just like a touch lighter than stouts. But at 3.2%, this is not a heavy beer at all. Crisp, lighter for the style, which I find quite enjoyable. Because yeah, porters, stouts, they're great, they're bold, they're robust, they're big and in your face, but sometimes they do hit a little heavy in the stomach. This right here, from a simpler time, does not do that. It gives you everything you want in a nice, bold stout or porter without being heavy in weight, which I am just a giant fan of. So with that said, guys, cheers everybody. Let's keep on drinking. And cheers to you, Attila. crisp, light, effervescent of a porter, and not heavy, but the flavors are there. Big roasty notes up front center without blowing out your palate. Light, yet also flavorful, biscuity back end with just subtle hints of dark chocolate and light molasses in there as well. A fantastic brew. I remember when my class and I were sitting in our beer evaluations and judging class, which was a class where we were given flights of beer, unknown beers, except for these ones because these were our student beers, and we had to rate them and yada yada yada. But sitting down and getting this beer, I'm just like, oh, okay, fairly dark, and it's a porter. I'm down with it. And I took a sip. I'm like, wow, this is the most refreshing porter I think I've ever had. Porters and stouts, they're not what I would say refreshing in terms of the grand scheme of beer styles. They're definitely more savory and more slow sippers. This, on the other hand, is something you can enjoy a little faster if you wish, but it's not going to weigh you down, and it's going to liven your palate up a little bit. It is, refreshing of a beer, which is very weird for a for a much darker beer like a stout or a porter, but at the same time is totally welcomed for me, and I think a lot of other people as well, because sometimes you want a stout or a porter, but maybe you've already had a big meal. Maybe you're full. Maybe you've already had a few brews and you don't want to have that added weight, that weight of heaviness feeling. And this offers just that. I really like this. I really like this beer. Because stouts and porters for me, especially when it comes to the summertime, are not a thing. Stouts and porters to me are more of a colder climate winter beer. You don't really enjoy them in the summer, at least for me. I don't enjoy them as much as I should, or as much as I do, compared to those colder months. But this one right here, I would be down for it any time of the year. That's just personal preference. You may vary. But yeah, let's see what the can and the pamphlet has to say. From a Simpler Time, Historic Porter by Attila, 3.2% alcohol by volume. Boom, there you go. Over in the pamphlet, let's see what Attila has to say. Now, where is it here? Here we go. From a Simpler Time, Historic English Porter. About the beer. A modern brown porter with the character of an English porter from over 200 years ago. Okay, so we're talking like 1800s or before. Very nice. It has characteristics of nuttiness, caramel, and vanilla-like flavors from the brown and pale chocolate malts. Estimated ABV at 4.3. A touch lower, but hey, totally fine by me. Vanilla and nuttiness. Nuttiness. I didn't pick up nuttiness. Maybe a little bit coming more from, like you said, those brown chocolate malts. A little bit of like a brown ale vibe off of this one, but much more roasty character compared to what you would find in a brown ale. So, damn. Okay. I like it. I like it a lot. I really do. I really do. It's the lightest feeling dark beer, porter stout, equivalent, which I am absolutely a big fan of. I don't know, over the years and even this past year was a big game changer for me when it came to porters and stouts, where I didn't enjoy as much the very heavy, overly sweet styles of stouts. Just not, my palate, I guess, changed a little bit. It develops, it changes like every 7 years or so, and maybe that 7 years came up. But those overly sweet stouts were really not my thing anymore. This, on the other hand, with this beautiful roasty forward flavor, I'm 100% on board. And at 3.2%, oh, come on. You can pound these back and not have to worry about getting too or drunk and falling on the floor, which is always a solid bonus. I remember even a few years back, I kind of always bashed on beers that were like under 4%, and then as I get older, I'm just like, under 4% beers make sense because I can enjoy more without feeling like complete shit. You're playing the long game here when you're doing the sub 4% beer. So think about it that way. Overall, a pretty damn good beer. Great flavor, great mouthfeel, great aroma. It's a stellar beer. With that said, guys, cheers on the final sip. Let's get ready to ratings and wrap this thing up. Before I spill it, I almost just spill. Cheers. Let's do it. From a simpler time, historic porter. Boom. There you go again. Look at it. Enjoy it. There you go. Yeah, no, fantastic. Light, a little bit of crispiness to it. Beautiful, bold flavors just like you would find in any other porter or stout, but without being a heavy beer. So, solid stuff indeed. Attila, from a simpler time, historic porter gets a solid, I'm thinking a solid 8.3 out of 10 for me. Pretty damn good stuff. Before I leave you guys, if you have any comments, questions, or beers you want to review in the future, you can leave all that information down in the comment box below. If you want to go on and like this video or subscribe to me, Mate Brewski, we greatly appreciate it as well. And with all that said, that's going to do it for me, Mate Brewski. Like I always say, crack a beer and enjoy. Cheers. Oh, now we know how brews taste from 200 years ago, or kind of. We get a little bit of insight. Thank you, Attila. Cheers.